Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Programmatically Correct. Hi, I am Ellen Parker, and I would be your host during this awesome presentation. I'm going to give everybody a hot second to join. And as we do this, I will go ahead and tell you a little bit about the Programmatically Correct and why we created it. So, again, thank you so much for joining, everybody. Today, we're going to talk about why programmatic media is so important from an advertiser perspective. For the next 10 minutes to 15 minutes ish, we will go ahead and highlight like what do advertisers care about. So I'm going to give like another 10 seconds to everybody that joins. If you're joining now, thank you so much. My name is Ellen Parker. I am the Chief Programmatic Sensei of Ellen Parker Consulting, where we offer programmatic media customized training for you and your team. And the Programmatically Correct show is a live social series on Monday and Thursday where we demystify the programmatic media industry for the busy digital marketer. You can tune in on LinkedIn Live, on YouTube Live, on Facebook Live, and here on Instagram Live. And eventually I'll make it to Clubhouse. So before we go into today's conversation, let me just tell you why you should hang around and why you should stick around with us. This is for you if you're a growing digital marketing agency that's ready to add programmatic media as into their business mix, or already started and you're on converting in your performance and you don't know how to scale or where to scale. This is for you if you're a professional with maybe traditional media background looking to expand your skill set. This is for you if you want an expert advice on campaign setup, audience targeting, how to partner up with AdTechs, etc. So this is actually inspired by our signature done with you programmatic training solution called the insertion. So as mentioned at the beginning of the call, we are going to talk about why it's so important to include programmatic media into your business, your media mix. It's Monday. We're going to be great. So thank you for everybody that's joining. So in the last week, we talked about the life of an ad impression. And last Thursday, we went ahead and highlighted the programmatic ecosystem. We talked about the Lumascape. We talked about the importance and roles on each level, from advertisers, publishers, to ad DSPs, SSP, etc. So I recommend that if you still have some questions, please refer to the videos on YouTube, and or just reach out to me and DM me wherever you're streaming right now. I'm very active on most of my social media for the simple fact that I want to bring value to my community. So from an advertiser perspective, let's just reiterate some of the findings, some of the learnings from last week. Like the programmatic ecosystem uses various technology platforms and companies that all play an essential role in the buying and selling of an ad impression. Okay, so part of the programmatic ecosystem, we review that, including DSPs, SSPs. We review what an exchanges are, ad servers, DMPs, data providers. We review the difference between sell side and buy side. And now we're going to talk about the importance of programmatic media from an advertiser perspective. So why should advertisers care about it, right? Well, I highlighted about 4 points that we're going to talk about. So the first point we'll talk about is volume. What we mean by volume is that volume of impression, volume of data, volume of targeting capabilities available to an advertiser when running on programmatic media platforms. An example of that would be if you're running an awareness campaign or you're running a reach campaign, that a volume of impression might be something you want to look into. Or if you're e-commerce, then of course a volume of your sales is something that you want to look into. So volume is definitely something advertisers care about. So if you're a digital marketing agency and then you're thinking about adding things into your programmatic media into your strategy, think about highlighting the amount of volume that will get. Now, just because you're getting a lot of impression doesn't mean that a campaign is always going to be successful. So I just wanted to point that out to you. The second point that we're going to talk about in terms of what do advertisers care about when it comes to programmatic media includes the cost per. So I told y'all about how we love acronyms. We absolutely love acronyms in our industry. And well, here's a few more, just in case you wanted to hear more about it. So, a cost per is basically the amount of budget or investment you have to pour in to the platforms. So we have cost per 1,000 impression, which is how most DSPs charges the agency or the buy. They charge based on 1,000 impressions, or a cost per click, like search. When you're running your campaign in Google Ads Manager, search charges you by clicks, so cost per click would be really important. CPC. Cost per acquisition, cost per action, which is commonly referred as CPA, which is actually campaigns that I like to work on best, because you have a specific action that you can optimize based off. So a good example of a CPA type of campaign would be I mentioned e-commerce since we're in Q4. Let's go ahead and talk about e-commerce. E-commerce is a good way to look at CPA. You can have a cost per, so I said CPM, which is cost per mil, which is mil is 1,000 in French for 1,000 impressions. So we charge based on 1,000 impressions. Cost per click, CPC. Cost per acquisition or action, CPA. There's cost per lead, which is CPL. So it's basically whatever main KPI you're trying to push for, that you can associate a cost, and that cost would be the amount of budget you spent divided by that action, divided by that lead, the number of lead divided by the number of clicks, etc. Cost, yeah. The third point that I wanted to talk about is operational efficiency. It is super efficient for an advertiser to run a programmatic media campaign. Why? Because we run and do the buy solely via DSP or that technology, that ad tech, that advertising technology. So it's super efficient. It's easy to grow a team of traders and train them into different platforms. So it becomes very efficient on the client side, on the advertiser side. So operational efficiency is extremely important when it comes to things that advertisers may care about or care about. The last that we're going to talk about is the last thing we're going to talk about is how something that's probably maybe the most important for an advertiser and why they care so much. It would be to maximize their investment. Why is that so important? Well, search like all of us, when you're investing something, you expect a certain level of returns. So that's why ROI is super important. We operate and optimize based on this one metric called the ROAS, return on ad spend, which allows you which shows you how much dollar you've gotten back from that advertising dollar. It's about the same if you're very familiar with a return on investment formula or ROI formula. It's about approximately the same. So I wanted to talk to you about those four things because it's important to consider what your advertiser wants, what is important to them as a brand, as an advertiser, because we are, as agencies or as programmatic in-house, brands in-house, it is our job and our role to make sure that we protect the brand's integrity and that we deliver. We have to deliver. Q4 is so important for for some of our advertisers, so we have to deliver to them. So let's just recap really quickly what we just talked about. So what do advertisers care about? One, we talked about volume impression, volume clicks, volume of results. Two, cost per. We talked about how much that dollar amount that's going to be associated with that inventory, with the volume. We talked about costs per 1,000 impressions. It's also known as CPM. M represents mil, which is 1,000 in French. It's just a word that says 1,000 in French. Cost per acquisition, cost per action, CPL, cost per lead, you name it. Whatever you want to associate that cost with. The third thing we talk about is operational efficiency. It's really efficient to run a programmatic media campaigns into a DSP because you're able to diversify your targeting within that technology. You can literally target different channels and levers within that same tech, and that makes it very efficient. But not only that, the reporting and the capturing of the results is very efficient because it comes all in one. So that's really attractive to some of our advertisers. Last but not least, what we also talked about was maximizing their investment. Advertisers care a lot about maximizing their investment. Why? Well, they want to have returns. We talked about ROI. Um, we have to be able to show a certain level of return, and that can involve showing a specific result, optimizing from a specific KPI, showing incremental lift when you are testing different channels, um, being able to let your advertiser knows like where we made changes, where it affected, where was the impact from that changes, and if it did move the needle in terms of having better results or less results. So it is really attractive to include a programmatic media um, um, strategy with your overarching digital media strategy because of the efficiency, because of the costs, because of the ability to be very efficient but also effective in how we maximize the client's investment or the brand's investment or that advertiser's investment. Another thing I wanted to talk about in terms of cost per is that sometimes when executed correctly, it can be very cost efficient as well. When you're running display advertising, when you're running that image and the banner, when done and executed correctly, it could be very cost efficient for the advertiser. That means they're not spending as much to serve a message. Now, on the other hand, it could also be very expensive because now we have DSPs that allow us to target connected TV inventory all in one, streaming. Now you can run an ad on Roku. You can serve on certain sites. You can run remarketing channels, remarketing tactics within that DSP. You can test different type of messaging, different type of creative, all in one, all within that ad tech. Now, I do want to say too that there will be a time where you might have to step outside of that DSP and test new things, or you might have to partner directly with a partner. I know that, for instance, sometimes it might be better to run direct, we call it direct programmatic, via that partner versus the DSP. Sometimes, not all the times. So this is the beauty of it all. Like it's the flexibility of things and the efficiency in it. Why? Because we're able to track our results and measure from that result and then implement from that result. So that's what I wanted to cover today, the importance of programmatic media from an advertiser perspective and why advertisers are so interested in the costs and then the efficiency and the return, because that's what programmatic can give. Those are the results you get when you run a programmatic media campaign. So thank you so much for joining in. My name is Ellen Parker. I wanted to keep this very short and sweet. I wanted those videos to be very digestible. The Programmatically Correct is a show that comes live. It's a live series every Monday and Thursday at 12 p.m. Eastern Time, which is GMT -4 right now. It's on all social media, all network, including Instagram, hi Instagram. So if you want to go back on the conversation, you can get over to our YouTube channel, or you can go into my LinkedIn profile, or you can go into the Programmatic Digest podcast profile. You can definitely get that information. And if you're still lost, hit me up. It's cool. I got you. It's no strings attached. I'm here to bring value to you. I'm here to let you understand that there are opportunities out there for you and your team. And I do want to end with the fact that this live series is inspired by the Ellen Parker Consulting LLC, which is the consulting firm that I run and I founded. We offer customizable training, including activation of the campaigns with your team. depending on the program you want to sign up or you need. It could be anywhere from 1 to 6 months. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. I like to end every live with a quick word of wisdom. And today, the word of wisdom would be working on your mind, your thoughts. I've been trying to take out the mind trash and do some thought work. And I just want to leave you with this: that sometimes we think more negatively about ourselves than we think positively. Over 85% of the time, we think negative thoughts. Yo, that's like out of 10 thoughts a day, that's between what, 85? So between 8 to 9 thoughts out of those 10 will be negative. Why? I don't know. It's beyond my pay grade right now. But I do want to let you know that when that happens, take a breather, pause, and reassess. Do some thought work like Rachel Rogers, who is the Hello 7 CEO, who is the author of We Should All Be Millionaire. Check her out. You have to do a certain level of thought work that really breaks down, why am I thinking negatively? Because I don't deserve it. You're worthy, you are deserving, and you're loved. So I want to leave you with that. Work on your thoughts. Make sure that everything that fuels your mind will fuel your body, because positive thoughts leads into positive actions. And that's one of the values we have at Ellen Parker Consulting. And before we even start any training, we actually like to do the first couple sessions. We really assess like the team's dynamic. So what I mean by that, for instance, on the last training we did, we invited a disc assessment professional to come in and review the team's disc result to help them be more efficient in their communication style. So if you are more interested, I'm happy to send my contact to you all. My name is Javon Stewart. Javon Stewart. So thank you so much. I will see you on Thursday, same time, same place. I will be reviewing what publishers care about on Thursday. So today we reviewed buy side. On Thursday we'll review sell side. And in the next couple weeks, we're going to start digging into the placement types, the channels types. So we're going to talk about display advertising and the best practice, when to use it, when not to use it. We're going to talk about third-party advertising versus first-party advertising, when to use it and when not to use it. We will talk about mobile advertising outside of mobile marketing. What does that really mean from a programmatic perspective? Can you geofence and retarget competitors from a mobile device? Like, so all of those are coming up in the next few weeks. And if you will be at the Programmatic IO, I will as well. So hit me up if you are. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day, y'all. Bye, Instagram.